As the US state of Kentucky reels from a horror plane crash, fresh footage and new information has come to light about what led to the tragedy that killed 12 people. Investigators are now looking at whether maintenance faults contributed to one of the aircraft engines falling off.
The crash shocked the world, and the answers could be hidden in the aircraft's black box.
After being cleared for takeoff, a large plume of fire in the area of the left wing occurred during the takeoff roll. The plane lifted off and gained enough altitude to clear the fence at the end of runway 17R. Shortly after clearing that fence, it made impact with structures and the terrain off of the airport property. A post-impact fire ensued, which covers approximately almost a half of a mile. And we have viewed airport CCTV security coverage, which shows the left engine detaching from the wing during the takeoff roll. This and other videos, along with evidence we are finding, are a very valuable asset to our investigators in helping us hone further which areas we were going to be focusing on as we move into further days of the investigation.
You have been watching the NTSB briefing there with Member Tiedemann talk about that deadly UPS plane crash in Louisville, Kentucky. You've been seeing some of the images of it, just horrific. We know that at least 9 people have been killed. 11 others at this point were hurt in that plane crash and subsequent explosion. That plane, of course, carrying something like 38,000 gallons of fuel as it was heading to Hawaii, this long-distance flight. A couple of new pieces of information we learned there. First of all, officials have recovered the critical black box. Remember, this is the flight data recorder that is going to give them a sense of what was happening in the cockpit. Important information about the flight itself, the altitude, the speed, etc. They've also confirmed now that the left engine, and you heard our Tom Costello, our senior correspondent there in the room, asking about some of these photographs we've seen, and you're looking at this image here. This is one of them. Again, the Tom reference that NTSB officials reference, as they are now confirming that, yes, this is the left engine that did detach from this plane right before it lifted off the ground. It obviously didn't get far off the ground. You've seen that in these images before it off airport property, smashed into buildings, smashed into the ground as well. And then you also heard the NTSB member talk about there, and you can see just how horrific that was. You also heard him talk about there was not, in fact, maintenance done immediately prior to this plane taking off. That is potentially significant here because that had been a question mark over the course of the last maybe 19, 23 hours or so since this crash happened. I want to bring in NBC's Adrian Broaddus, who is near the scene there in Louisville. Half a mile of a debris field, Adrian, you heard them talk about. There is a lot of investigation yet to be done and a lot of questions yet to be answered.
Still so many questions, Hallie, and unfortunately people here who want those answers may not have all of the answers today. But we do know some key critical information that we just received moments ago. The big critical piece of evidence is that photo you showed just moments ago. It's still on property. That is the left engine, which detached from the wing during takeoff. Now, he was telling us that evidence will be collected. They're going to analyze it. Not just one team, but multiple specialized focus groups who have expertise in this area. That engine will be sent back to D.C. for testing. You talked about the flight data recover also being recorded, what's known as the black box. He did spell out, and I'm paraphrasing here, that the black box sustained some heat damage. But he quickly followed up and said that it was not exposed to fire for multiple days. The good news is that the black box was not at the bottom of an ocean. And he said these boxes are made to withstand the test of time. They can withstand this type of damage, but still just so much painful news for folks not only in this community, but think about the families that were impacted. At least 9 people were killed, including 3 members who were on the crew. The governor telling us earlier in the day he thinks that number 9 will increase. He also said at least 11 people were injured, but I can tell you, we heard from a hospital spokesperson who says they treated at least 15 patients. Yes, you heard me right. 15 patients. 13 of them, he said, were treated and released, but at least 2 remain in critical condition. They're fighting for their lives. Of course, the doctor could not talk about their specific injuries, but he did say they treated a number of injuries, including burns. So a new reality for so many people here, and they're hoping to get some answers from the NTSB, Hallie. They want to know, why did this happen? What caused it? And as he pointed out, part of their job is prevention, because no one ever wants this to happen again. You may hear the airplanes flying above me. At least one runway is open, but there still have been some delays and cancellations. And based on what we heard just moments ago, that may be the case for the coming days, because he says his team of 28 will be here